No.
You're some of those things. I'm going to give you the short version, which is still long. Okay. Sorry. So Neal had been on Deacon's Retreat, which was by Mike Flynn. It was all like this Holy Spirit stuff, and I was in Florida for my great-grandmother's 100th birthday. And I would call him and say, how's everything going? And he just kind of had this like strange tone to his voice. Oh, it's good. It's just a little, I'm not really comfortable with the material. He kept saying, I'm really comfortable with material. Usually our retreats are like pumped up, very excited. So anyway, he came back Sunday night, and I came back Sunday night, and Neal says to me, Father Nigel's sick in the hospital, and I said, that's so bad when the healing guy gets sick. What does that mean? So, I just kind of went to bed at his lake, and I wake up early Sunday morning. Tor and I are on like the same sleep schedule. We go to bed, really early, and we wake up, 5 hours before the rest of the world. So, I checked my email, and Tor had sent out an email about Father Nigel, and he had written a prayer for him. And normally I don't usually read his emails, actually. I don't know if I said that last time. So, sorry. Because it goes to Neal's address. That's why it comes to me. So I was snooping in Neal's inbox, I guess. So I read it, and it was like 4 something in the morning, and I felt like water pouring on my head. And I still remember sitting there thinking, that was so bizarre. What was that? So I get up and I take a shower, and I get some coffee, and I come back, and Tor had sent another email with another prayer, and I read it again, and it happens again. It's like a little bit more, and I'm still thinking, what is that? It's like freaky. It was just like a watering can right above my head. So I thought about telling Neal, and then I thought, poor guy is just so freaked out from the entire weekend of these weird stories. I don't know if he can handle one more. So I did tell him about that, and I was getting ready for work, so I get ready, and I go downstairs, and I was standing at the bottom of my steps, and my husband, being that husband, he was putting laundry in the dryer. It seemed great. And I said, I don't know what's going on. I'm obsessed with Nigel. I don't even know who he is. I don't know what he looks like. I can't get him out of my head. And Neal says, well, you're probably just supposed to pray for him. Go with it. And I was like, great pastoral advice, Neal. Thank you. I left. Sorry about the story. So driving to work, and I said a prayer for him again, and it happens again. It's like all this water pouring on me, and it was, physically I'm feeling it. It was just so bizarre. So I called Neal crying, and I said, I don't know what's going on. I'm having these weird experiences. I can't stop thinking about Nigel. I don't know who he is. I have no idea what's happening. He basically said the same thing, just pray for him. And then I have this vision of him, like literally a vision in my head, which I've never had before. And, it was a Father Nigel suspended in this blackness, and there was this water pouring to his chest, and it was coming out of his back all dirty. And I saw it all the time. I couldn't get out of my head. It's like, get out of my head. I don't want you there. It was really strange. It wouldn't go away. And also throughout the day, I was praying for him, which I have to say, before this happened, I really wasn't into church. And I probably told you this before. I thought most of you were crazy. Super nice. Loved you all. I thought you were a little crazy. Talk about the visions and all these things going on. So anyways, when I was praying for him, it was like I was in his head. Like I was him. And he was praising God, and it was just beautiful. It wasn't, like he was terrified or scared. It was really strange. So I get home, and I said, I know it's been a weird day, but I have some more weird things to say to you. And I told him, and thank God he had just been on the retreat, because he said, Mike Flynn had been talking about this, probably some type of intercessory prayer. Just go with it. So he had some friends who were Roman priests coming over for dinner that night, and we told them about Father Nigel, and I said, we should pray this prayer that Tor wrote for him, and I printed it out. He said, nobody gets dessert till you sit through this prayer. So I don't like it. So, anyways, as we were eating dinner before we prayed the prayer, I was just sitting there with my hand at the table, and my wedding ring, the diamond with all the prongs on it, just like flopped on the table, literally. And I kind of gasped, and I said, I hope this isn't a metaphor for our marriage. Pretty dramatic that I am. So I went and I put it in the jewelry box. Okay, that's okay. So anyways, Tuesday, Neal went away with one of his friends. You're okay, it's just a hiccup. One of his friends was from out of town, so they went to Stanley Pleasant for a couple days vacation. And I couldn't get Father Nigel's vision out of my head, and I literally could not sleep for more than a few minutes at a time, or maybe an hour or so. And I would wake up and I would just felt compelled to pray for him all the time, which was also a strange experience because that's not something I do. So anyways, Tuesday morning I was driving to work, and this gets really weird. I had this vision of this pitcher of oil suspended like right here by my head, and it started to tip, and I put my hand out, and I felt it on my hand, like literally like warm oil just pouring all over my right hand. And that really did me in. So I called Neal hysterical yet again, and he said, you need to call Father Steve. So it's Steve Hart. And he said, weird things like this happen. He knows all about this. He's happened all the time. I said, okay, I will call him. So I called him, and I only met him briefly at Neal's diaconate ordination, and I said, I have something kind of weird to tell you. So I told him the story, and he said, no, this is normal. You should go there and pray for Father Nigel, and I'll call you back. And I thought, I'm going to pray for him. No way. Who am I to do that? So anyways, he doesn't call me back till 6 o'clock that night. And in the meantime, I thought somebody was going to come take me away in a straitjacket because of all these strange things that were happening. We couldn't get in to see him because he was so sick. And he says, I have an intercessory prayer group that I meet with every Wednesday, and we're going to pray for Father Nigel. I think you should come. And I tried to weasel my way out of it in every way, shape, or form, and I could not. So I ended up going and, or saying I would go. So that night I made a CD, just different music for Father Steve to thank him for my hysterical phone call, because I was pretty hysterical, Tuesday morning. And I found this song that I didn't know I had. We have, 1,000 songs on our computer. Let the River Flow. And I put it on, and I saw where this water was coming from that was pouring through Father Nigel. It was like, like Google Maps, you can zoom out. It's like I zoomed out. And it was coming from this room where they were praying for him. And the words are, let the poor man say I'm rich in him, let the blind man say I can see again, let the dead man say I'm born again. And there's one more verse that I'm not remembering. There's like 5 or 6 sentences in the song that I can't remember. So anyways, I couldn't stop listening to this song. I was completely obsessed with it. I thought, oh, this is really strange. So, that's strange, like everything was strange at the time. I get to Father Hart's church in the morning, and I said, I've already told you a whole bunch of really strange things. I have another one, and I told him about, the song. I said, I was making a CD, and I found this song, and that's where this water's coming from, and this vision I couldn't get out of my head. And he said, what's the name of that song? And I said, Let the River Flow. And he just did one of his little, cryptic smiles that he does. That's interesting. And that's all he said. So we drive to this person's house, and we get out, and he said, I've been praying with these people for years, and we're all very visual prayers, and over the years we've brought so many people to the river. This is going to mean a lot to everybody. So I was okay. This is getting, deeper, I guess, than I ever thought it would. So anyways, we went and we prayed, and I'm still obsessed with this song, Let the River Flow, and I can't figure out why. And I'm up like all Wednesday night listening to the song. Literally, I must have listened to it 1,000 times. And I'm driving to work Thursday morning thinking, why am I obsessed with this song? Like, there's something in this song that I'm not, like, nothing's clicking in my head. Like, I know there's something there, but I don't know what it is. So, all these instances were in my car. They always happen when I turn onto Route 5 right by the river. I take 67 from Gloversville to 5. So anyways, I'm driving and I'm listening to the song in my car, and it just like hits me like a ton of bricks.